welcome back to The Explainer. Today we've got a wild story for you. It's about a simple plant that was once a top secret of the Soviet elite, a plant they believed was the key to living longer lives.
So, let's just dive right in. Our source for this one kicks off with a really provocative question. How did some of the most powerful people in the Soviet Union manage to live for so long? I mean, were they hiding something the rest of us didn't know about?
Well, according to the author we're looking at, the answer is a plant, specifically Stevia, and he doesn't mince words, calling it a serious component of immortality for the Soviet top brass. Think about that. This wasn't just some sugar substitute. It was treated like a strategic classified asset. All right, here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll look at the Politburo's sweet secret. Then we'll trace the journey of this honey herb. We'll dive into the secret health report itself, show you how to make your own windowsill pharmacy, and finally, we'll tackle that big question. Is this really a step toward immortality? Okay, first up, the Politburo's sweet secret. So, how on earth does a humble plant end up as a classified project at the very top of a global superpower? Let's find out. Get this. Our source claims that for decades, everything about Stevia was classified. It was grown specifically for the Politburo, the main policymaking group in the Communist Party, plus their families and even their special forces. And these plantations, they were supposedly guarded just as heavily as fields of opium poppies. That's some serious security for a plant. The author of this piece actually stumbled onto this whole story by accident. He was confronted by the very guy, the botanist Ilya Ilyich, who first brought Stevia into the USSR. And this guy was just baffled. He's asking, why is nobody talking about this plant that 25 years ago was in our most secret government papers?
So that's the big question, right? How did this honey herb even make its journey to the Soviet Union in the first place? To really get why they valued it so much, we've got to trace its incredible path from South America all the way to those secret labs behind the Iron Curtain.
Okay, this timeline is absolutely fascinating. On one hand, you have the indigenous Guarani people in Paraguay who knew about Stevia's power for centuries. Then jump to the 1950s, and Japan is all in, making it a huge part of their national health plan. But then, and this is the crazy part, in the 1980s, the USSR brings it in completely under wraps as a state secret. You've got three totally different approaches, all zeroing in on the same plant.
All right, now we're getting to the juicy stuff, the secret health report. What did the Soviets actually find that made them lock this information away? What was so special about this plant?
The first thing that just blew them away was its sweetness. The main compound in stevia, called Stevioside, is up to 300 times sweeter than your regular table sugar. 300 times! I mean, just imagine that. A single leaf could sweeten your entire cup of coffee. A little bit goes a very long way.
But here's the real kicker, the game changer. For all of that incredible, intense sweetness, stevia has virtually 0 calories. Nothing, zilch. And that combination, insanely sweet with no caloric downside, is what made it a holy grail for health researchers and, of course, for the Soviet elite.
So the source we're looking at draws a really sharp line in the sand here. It calls sugar a sweet poison, something that feeds all the bad stuff in our bodies and leads to all sorts of diseases. And then, on the other side, you have stevia, which it calls a natural healer. The idea is that it basically starves those same bad actors and helps get your body back on track.
So when the lid was finally lifted on this classified research, the list of benefits was pretty long. The Soviet scientists believed it did just about everything. We're talking lowering blood sugar and bad cholesterol, boosting liver and pancreas function, even stimulating the adrenal glands, which they directly connected to living a longer life.
Okay, so what's the magic sauce here? What's actually inside this natural pharmacy that gives it all these incredible properties?
Well, the source breaks it down into this powerful natural cocktail. You've got these things called diterpene glycosides. That's what gives you the sweetness without the calories. Then you have flavonoids like rutin and quercetin, which are great anti-inflammatories. On top of that, more than 50 different essential oils with antibacterial properties, plus crucial microelements like chromium and zinc for regulating blood sugar. It's the whole package. Okay, this next part is maybe the most empowering piece of the whole story. This once top secret plant can literally become your own windowsill pharmacy. You don't need access to classified documents to get the benefits.
and the source gives us a super simple recipe for making your own extract at home. You basically just take some dried leaves, stick them in a thermos with boiling water, and let it steep. You do a second infusion to get every last drop of goodness, combine them, and boom, you've got your own potent, all-natural sweetener that you can keep in the fridge for a week.
And this all brings us back to where we started, to that really provocative idea from the source material, stevia as a step toward immortality.
You know, this whole idea connecting stevia to longevity isn't just some Cold War thing. It goes way, way back to its origins in Paraguay. The local Guarani people called it kaya-he, which means sweet herb. And get this, their mythology actually tells a story of a girl who became immortal and became the plant's protector. So the idea has been around for a long, long time.
And right here is where it all ties together so beautifully. You have this ancient folklore hinting at its power. Then, a global superpower secretly studies it for its life-extending potential. And now, modern science is basically catching up, with a world symposium on diabetes and longevity calling it one of our most valuable plants for living a long and active life. Full circle.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If a simple, sweet herb could be a state secret for decades, what other natural wonders are just sitting out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to rediscover them? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.